What is going on, y'all? It is the Caveman back at it again with another video, and I just want to quickly say this is why I love hockey. This is why playoff hockey will always be the best.
On David Krejci, there's the hit on Krejci. Ovechkin
open to the point is Pedersen. His shot tipped in front by Rodriguez. Sorokin made the save. He'll dance. He'll center one. Harvard. What a save! Oh my goodness! What a stop! He spots Ian Cole. The trailer moving in. Bukestad. What a save again! Fleury right on the spot. Good defensive stick by Zuccarello. Hartman in a battle with McNabb. Brodin out in front. Here's a chance. What a save! Fleury maybe his best.
And Kaprizov ends up.
Fourth year of existence. Stone moves through the slot right in. What a chance! Talbot got a pad down. Ruda tried to feather it ahead. Turns it over to Huberdeau. He moves in. Huberdeau protects. Leaves it out in front. They score! Blocked. And McDonough looking to spring the break. It's Braden Points. Scores!
That right there is why I love playoff hockey, why playoff hockey is the best and nothing will ever defeat it, because there is always constant intensity, constant physicality. The goals and the talent are put on display. The goaltending is outstanding. It's hockey, but 4 times better, 4 times stronger, 4 times more passionate. You can just feel the intensity, the care, the love, the want on the ice every single time you're just watching a game. All of it is right there, and you can feel it through your screen. Before I hop into the rest of it, you guys know the drill. Mott's applesauce. You guys know the vibes around here. Mott's applesauce, you'll never go wrong with it. It always tastes so damn good no matter what time of day you're having it. You can't go wrong with your Mott's, man. Come on now. Only 4 games have been played so far. The first game of 4 of the 8 series have been played. There are still 4 other series that have yet to play their first game. There are more games on tonight, but those first 4 games have really set the tone for what these playoffs have to offer this year, and I cannot wait for it. My taste on hockey has gone a little south. I just really have not wanted much to do with it because the Sabres have really ruined this season for me, but I have not been this excited. After watching the Boston and Washington game, which was the first game of the playoffs, I have not been so excited for hockey in a long time. Since the beginning of this past season, I have not been excited to watch hockey. Now, after watching that first playoff game, each and every game that has been on after that Washington and Boston game has gotten better and better and better, and the games have been outstanding. Like I said, it kicked off with the Washington and Boston series. Those 2 teams went head-to-head. They've been playing each other all season. All of these teams have been playing each other all season, so they're pretty familiar with each other. And that game was physical, it was scrappy, it was tough, it was playoff hockey to a T. The story of that game was Craig Anderson, who has played like 3 games all season, having to come in for an injured Vanacek and, play in his relief for him, and he did relatively well. They won the game at the end of the day, and that's what's important. Craig Anderson is getting quite up there in age. He's like 39 or 40 years old, and to come in after not really playing at all this season in a playoff game on the most important stage to keep the team in the game the way he did was outstanding. I don't know how the Capitals are going to handle their goaltending situation going forward, but since Vanacek is out, I'm assuming he's going to miss a couple games. I don't know what's happening with Samsonov. I think he's had like a concussion issue or something like that. I'm not completely sure, but Craig Anderson would be the next man up. He had a little bit of a rebound issue, but maybe he'll be able to straighten that out as he really gets going. But still, the story of that first game was Craig Anderson, and he did a very phenomenal job. And then the Islanders and the Penguins followed up the Washington and Boston game, and that game was electric as well, especially when it got down to the wire. That game got nuts because it was bang bang goals that came back to back, and then once again, like the Washington and Boston game, went to overtime. 3 of the 4 first playoff games went to overtime. That was insane. I fully expected the Penguins to come out with a win in game 1, but the Islanders proved me wrong. Tristan Jarry did not have the best night. Like the Washington Capitals, the Penguins seem to have a goaltending problem with Tristan Jarry after he had a really shaky game 1. So that'll be something to monitor going forward as well. And then the next game, which was my favorite out of the 4 so far, was the Minnesota and Golden Knights game. Holy shit. I was a goalie growing up, so I loved this game so freaking much. This game featured a goaltending duo that was probably the best I've ever seen live in my life. Cam Talbot and Marc-Andre Fleury put on an absolute show. They put on a clinic. It was a fantastic game to watch. Like I showed in the highlight clips, some Marc-Andre Fleury clips definitely made that list because he was making flashy save after flashy save. That dude is a skating highlight reel, and he is getting better with age, and it's just something freaking magical to see. Marc-Andre Fleury is a spectacle, and I used to not really like him. I really didn't, but now I'm his biggest fan. Like, he was playing playing out of his mind. And Cam Talbot, on the other hand, he played another fantastic game. Like I have been mentioning, he played a fantastic game, a fundamental game for sure. He was keeping all rebounds in front of him. He was making big save after big save. He was not creating any chaos for the Wild. He did his job perfectly. So the next time I ever hear somebody say that the sport of hockey needs more scoring and some changes need to be made for that to happen, I am going to point to this game because this game was so freaking exciting and only one goal was scored. This is the most recent example. I know that there are other examples, but this game was a playoff game nonetheless, and it was as exciting as it gets. And then we got the Florida and Tampa game, which was just bonkers. That game was off the wall. Like, this game definitely topped the Vegas and Wild game, but not by much. It topped it for a different reason because the talent that was on display on the offensive side of the ice was absolutely unbelievable. Jonathan Huberdeau for the Florida Panthers took over that game, but so did Nikita Kucherov for the Tampa Bay Lightning, who has been out for a long time on the long-time IR list. And that wasn't because he was hurt. It was to avoid some cap issues, and now he's allowed to come back for the playoffs to avoid going over the cap. Interesting dilemma we have on our hands. Do you think the Tampa Bay Lightning should be allowed to do what they're doing? Obviously, the NHL is allowing it. It's a loophole that has happened in their system, and technically, it's really not cheating. People are saying it's cheating. It's really not. You know, they're allowed to do it. They found the loophole, and they're exposing it, and I feel like any team would do the same. It sucks, but, you know, it is what it is, and this Lightning team is dangerous. They have, like, an Eastern Conference, like, all-star lineup for their power play. It's pretty insane how good they are, but hockey is hockey. Any team can win on any night, and the Florida Panthers gave them one hell of a game, and it's going to be a fantastic series. The Lightning are not going to walk out of here with a sweep. I also want to quickly talk about my predictions for the first round. I have Boston over Washington. I also have the Islanders over the Penguins, the Lightning over the Panthers. I have the Hurricanes over the Predators. I have the Oilers over the Winnipeg Jets. I have the Maple Leafs over the Montreal Canadiens, the Golden Knights over the Wild, and the Avalanche over the Blues. So a lot of good series. None of them I sat there and looked at and were like, you know what, this team is definitely winning. A lot of them are toss, actually 100% of them are toss-ups. Nobody really knows who's going to come out in round one, and that's the beauty of hockey. I truly have no idea who's actually going to come out in any of these series. That's what I love about hockey. You know, with all these other sports like the NBA or like the MLB, you look at some matchups in the playoffs and you're like, yeah, obviously this team is going to advance. You never do that with hockey. There's not a single series you look at in the NHL playoffs and you say this team is going to advance 100% of the time. That just does not happen. I feel like the only playoffs in another sport that even come close to matching the intensity of the NHL is the NFL because of the one and done aspect of the playoffs. So I think because of the one and done playoff format for the NFL, it definitely meets the intensity of the NHL. But what the NFL does have, just like the NBA, they have some matchups in the playoffs sometimes where 100% of people are taking one team to win a game. So like the Kansas City Chiefs were playing the Cleveland Browns last year. I think 99% of people would have said the Kansas City Chiefs were going to win that game. Obviously, Mahomes got hurt and that kind of spiced things up a little bit. But going into that game, I think if you had to choose a team, every single person and their mother was taking the Kansas City Chiefs. When it comes to hockey, that just does not happen. I cannot stress it enough. You never know who's going to win a game. Any team can win any game in any series. The unpredictability of the NHL playoffs and hockey in general is why I love it so much. Any single team can come out with a win. You never know what's going to happen. No matter what the favorites say, no matter what the odds say, no matter what anybody says, any single team can win on any given night. There is also one other quick thing I want to point out. Tom Wilson has gone through a lot of shit in the regular season. That dude is a straight scumbag. Nobody likes Tom Wilson. And there really are not that many guys in the NHL that can go toe-to-toe with Wilson anymore. There just are not that many big guys that can fight, that can really go up against a guy like Tom Wilson. But there is one other guy. The Washington Capitals reside in the Eastern Conference. That is where Tom Wilson lives. But in the Western Conference, on the Vegas Golden Knights, we have a guy named Ryan Reeves. This guy can throw a solid right hook. This guy is beefy. He can fight. This guy is strong. There is a guy that can take on Tom Wilson. It is Ryan Reeves. And could you imagine if the Vegas Golden Knights met up against the Capitals in the Stanley Cup Final and we got to see that tilt? That fight would just set the tone for one of the best playoff series, one of the best Stanley Cup Finals that we have ever seen. That would be absolutely unbelievable. So if you're a hockey fan, I'm sure you're enjoying the playoffs just as much as I am already. And if you're not a hockey fan, I strongly advise you just to watch one freaking game. You will not be disappointed with the intensity, the talent, the grittiness. You will love every second of it. Even if you don't have a team to root for, it is just fun to watch. But anyway, I want to know your thoughts down in the comments below. Who do you think is going to make it out of round one? What do you think of the Tampa Bay Lightning and the cap situation? What do you think about the goaltending situation with the Capitals and the Penguins? I want to know any of your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, and I hope you did, please like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. If you want to hit the bell to be notified when I upload, I would appreciate that. If you want to go over to Twitter, follow me over there, I would appreciate that as well. I'm a part of the Built-in Buffalo content creation team. If you love Buffalo sports, be sure to subscribe and follow them on any social medias you may have. And I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.